there's a really kind of strong smell, cooked and burnt meat.
His stomach growls a little bit before he
It's
notices
quite
what
overwhelming.
it's from.
Staying here does not appear to be a suitable option, considering the Brevois spies know this location.
Considering it was on a main thoroughfare, I think we should head out immediately now that we have this wagon. I need to leave a message in case there's any soldiers who weren't here.
Well, the wagon is at your disposal to transport his sleeping lordship.
I guess I'll carry him out to there, and then I can see what I'll do. So I think Hastus will see if he can pick Lucio up. He'll be very ginger with him.
Someone of your size and breadth of shoulder, although he is quite a tall man, there is very little to him. Even less now, it would seem. He is sweating profusely. You can feel the heat coming off him.
Right, Hastus will carry him out to the wagon. So
Okay.
emerge from the tent.
It may be beneficial to inform his brother of his current state, especially if we do not have the capacity in our current location to bring him back to health.
Do you have a means to contact his brother? As I believe he's still in Restov. Unless he wants to send a runner. Maybe his eyes flick over to the centaur. They're going to have a difficult time contacting Mario. And Hastus continues the rest of the way to the wagon and looks for a place to set Lucio down.
Life and death are things that happen in nature.
Not often like this, though. There's something that your sharp eye would notice. On the ground here and there are these kind of small fragments. At first you thought it was stone, and then when you kind of put your boot over it, and then Asana complained to you that she made the same error, it appears that these little small sort of stones, almost shingles, sort of very small shingle size, appears they're made of metal.
Interesting.
Someone's managed to get one caught in her hoof, which she's now complaining about.
Oh, well, I will certainly go and rectify that. Take it out, and what is it?
Well, it's definitely a kind of a black layer over it. Partly comes with a sort of dust your fingertips, and then it's sort of almost like it was something somewhat larger made of metal that's then broken, and what you're holding is kind of all these little sort of fragments around are kind of fragments of something made of metal that's broken, but whatever would have broken it would have required some considerable force. In some cases, not shattered, almost kind of squashed, like compressed.
That is something I have no idea what could have done. What kind of volume of this stuff do I see?
You can find a reasonable amount of it. It's not like it's scattered like, stones on a beach, but it's certainly, if you're looking amongst the bodies and the burnt things resembling charcoal now, if you're looking around there, you can see these kind of little fragments in different places.
What is the state of the bodies, as it were?
So it's varied. Sort of here, this is basically a complete charred mess of burnt horse, burnt humanoid, and burnt wood. Around here is a slightly less charred but still cooked humanoids. Some of the metal armor they wore, there's still kind of scraps of. Outside of those two areas, though, it is largely as you see, where you have a number of bodies that have died in different ways, you would say. So over here, so these that look kind of, I guess, somewhat distinct. It doesn't appear to be any obvious wounds on their bodies, but all of them have their mouths gaping over. One of them is kind of clutching his throat. These two appear to have been hacked down. This one looks to have been shot by a couple of crossbow bolts. This gentleman here basically died from arrows being fired down on him. These two here got large wounds in their chests or on the side of their head, but they're quite irregular wounds, so they're not from an obvious weapon that you're familiar with. These two are curious, Alara. They got some irregular wounds like the rest of these men around, but they also look like someone's sent them out into Iobaria in the winter. They look kind of almost slightly frozen.
Looking at the wounds, Styx kind of looks around, walks over to Hastus. Were they using Numerian
Hastus
weapons?
looks down. Numerian weapons?
Yes. Fires little tiny things of metal at people.
Some of them, especially around here, and they were firing on positions here, here.
Kind of just looking around at the scene of death. Styx takes out a small cloth and blindfolds his brother and just sets him down.
Interesting.
Hastus just looks on.
Can we leave? I'm really not liking this.
I just gotta write a message. Hastus will look to get some canvas. He'll cut some canvas from the tent and look around for a piece of charcoal. Tell him,
Yes,
have you had a chance to look at those vials?
I have. I can confirm that they are poison.
All
but
of them?
Yes, but I've not done taken the time to do a detail analysis. As Quarrick here wanted me to have a look at these bottles.
Well, are you coming along?
Oh yes. I think we're both coming along, aren't we, Quarrick? We're coming along.
Hastus nods to them. Alright, we'll be shipping out as soon as possible. Who are you again?
Oh, I'm Styx. He puts a hand out.
Hastus tries not to break tiny baby hand when he shakes it. That doesn't tell me much.
No, it doesn't.
Hastus kind of gives him a look like, so it's like that, eh? I presume you're coming along as well?
Yeah. Don't really have much choice in the matter.
Right, but what do you do?
People just tend to keep me around as a good luck charm.
That doesn't seem so strange to Hastus, considering Halfling's reputation.
He is flipping a coin, and it is continuously landing on heads.
So, he takes note of that. Alright then. And Hastus will climb into the cart, check up on Lucia.
Lucia will be fast asleep. Quarrick and Tolan have brought over one of the crates and added it onto the cart.
I'm gonna start looking around if there's any obviously useful stuff in the tents or anything like that. My understanding is we're going into the wilderness.
Mordred was like looking over the side of the wall and asking if we were leaving.
Yeah,
Since everyone's getting on the cart, you gather there's a little troop there.
yeah,
And,
you're definitely feeling nervous, Mordred. You have that kind of almost when your father does a foretelling, feeling anxious. And let's face it, things have taken a unexpected turn.
Mhm.
And though you and some of these fellows dealt with it, nevertheless.
It's it went from the orderly management of the securing of a trade route to intrigue with the sword lords of Brevoy, and I mean, let's face it, it's going to be a bit of a fixer-upper to get this trade route protected correctly. Yeah, he'll also look for anything useful, but he mostly just joins with the rest of the group.
Hastus will tell Andoran to just rest as he starts rifling through his healer's pack. He's going to devote all his energy to providing long-term care.
Just looking around, what's the fanciest looking thing on the bodies?
Anything kind of fancy has been pretty much, burnt away. And those bodies that haven't been burnt away look like someone's already gone through and done a bit of a job on them. Not many options. I mean, there are weapons available. Quite a few.
I'm not really looking
shields.
for like weapons or armor or something. Maybe just like a nice brooch or something. Anything that looks shiny or fancy. I'm not like inspecting them. I'm just casually strolling around, glancing over everything.
Okay.
If it's not like readily
not-
apparent, I'm not going to go like rifle through
No,
this stuff.
all these bodies look like they were sort of warriors of some type, and therefore The only body that is an exception to that is the one over here, this one, that looks like some kind of teamster, but looks a little odd. Doesn't have the physique of a teamster, maybe. And there's a body up here that's kind of dressed in black cloth, which kind of looks pretty suspicious. Again, apart from a big pool of blood, there's not an awful lot to report.
I will actually check out this body up here.
Okay.
He does have some interesting wounds.
They all probably have interesting wounds.
I am actually, rifling through this person's stuff openly.
Stuff I look around for is mostly for like food and the traveling supplies that we didn't pick up on our first glance over.
There is definitely 3 months provisions here. If you're after things like rope, backpacks, etc., you will find that sort of stuff in the tents. There's some pretty interesting stuff in this tent, but you probably suspect that may actually belong to Lucio, but you don't know.